Adrian, you are a very successful real estate broker. You've also got a really interesting backstory that I'm looking forward to hearing more about. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, mate.
We had a chat a while ago. You had, I'm sure we'll go into more depth on your journey, but you had a period of time where after a really strong first quarter this year,
Yeah.
you went to try something else,
Yeah.
and then you decided to come back to being a broker.
Mm.
And I asked you when you got back, like, how you felt coming back.
Mm.
And do you remember what you said to me?
No, I don't remember.
You said, I don't have feelings.
Right. Yeah.
You said
Mm.
feelings are irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a really interesting response. And it's kind of been on my mind since because like I'm quite a feelings orientated
Yeah.
person, but I wondered if you could, if you're still in that headspace, if you could add like maybe some context to that or give me an idea where that came from.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
And myself, I'm very much a feelings oriented person as well. I don't really do anything unless it feels right to do it. But yeah, I remember we had that conversation. The reason I said it is the way I like to do business. I try to keep emotions and feelings out of the room, out of the conversation, and try to move more logical way and more sort of analytical way, so to speak, and sort of coming back to real estate was probably the best logical decision I could make at that point of time. Just because it's probably the right job for me. It's probably the right industry for me. I'm able to leverage my personality and my skill set to effectively translate that into business. So I
And do you
think,
think with taking feelings out of it, it adds like speed to your transaction?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think taking feelings and emotions out of the decision
Yeah.
and just purely using logic and data is, in my opinion, more effective. And exactly as you said, it adds speed to it, speed and accuracy, instead of like overthinking things and trying over analyzing and leaning into your feelings in business. It's I don't really.
I find it really difficult to sort of split the two, but the way I do is like I add a little bit of time usually, maybe with my response.
Yeah.
Like, so if I was finding a situation business wise that was triggering me and I'm angry about it, I'll maybe vent a little bit. I might meet you in the office, say, and have a bit of a vent or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I would never have emotion in my response, but I see the value in that if you've got like a brain that can really switch that off.
Yeah.
Um,
I think effectively it's, in my opinion, that's what's separating the best from the rest. And it's something that I've learned from someone. It's not that I've sort of come across and invented myself. Can't remember who exactly it was. Must have been someone like Gavin Rubinstein or Matt Steinway or one of these guys. But essentially, they all talk about the same thing. They're all at the top of it. They're all at the pinnacle of the business in their sort of core market areas. And that's what I've been really trying excel in, is to try and eliminate that time from maybe a transaction, a dealing fall through, into finding a next opportunity. I think that's what separates. No, it's actually Alexander Phillips who talks about it. I think it was him. You try and minimize that gap between a deal not going the right direction into effectively finding a new opportunity. I think that try and eliminate that gap and move quickly. That's what that's what he said separates the best from the rest. And I see a huge value in it because it's all about time, right? It's, you have maybe 10, 12, 14 hours in a day. But what do you actually do? Like, how intense is that time? How much do you actually intensively spend working and putting things together to move that needle closer to make that transaction happen?
and you like, so it sounds like educating yourself through others and learning from
Yeah.
others is important. Do you like on the time and how you manage time? Are you scheduling time for that, or are you just like absorbing sort of
Mhm.
information as you go? You might see a video here, you might have a
Yeah.
podcast you listen to over the weekend, or is that like a daily must?
It's a daily must,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I try and use every gap I have in a day, whether it's driving. We do a lot of driving, obviously, here in
Mm.
Dubai, from home to the office, out to appointments. I try to utilize that time to feed my brain, feed myself with knowledge, whether it's through podcasts or it's mostly through podcasts with these guys. Uh, and it is a daily must for me. Yeah, for sure.
And what about, do you also schedule time to like switch off, or are you just in a
Yeah,
phase where
that's a great question. Yeah.
you're on until you burn out, and then it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I need a
That's
holiday or I need like
yeah,
time off, or
yeah. That's something I'm sort of trying to balance out. Uh, I try to keep half of Sunday always free, always for like not working. Half of Sunday, sometimes the whole of Sunday. So effectively, I would run 6.5 days a week, uh, 12, 14 hours.
hmm,
Uh, but it's again, it's getting more and more complicated in terms of you have more going on. There's naturally more stress to it. And I'm starting to find that having that time off is fundamentally important to then leverage that into being fresh on, let's say, on Monday, and then having that capacity. But at the same time, that's what I think everyone has to do in the beginning of their career, just try and run very quickly and very intensively
and constantly.
and constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think the first time I saw you, like, or we had a conversation, might have been like a Sunday, and you were
Yeah.
saying exactly that.
Yeah.
You were you were in a different team then,
Okay.
totally different situation, but you were saying, yeah, man, I'm just trying to go all the time.
Yeah.
But like the weekends and all that sometimes do get to me. Have you got
Mhm.
better since then at like, are you scheduling a break or a holiday now, or are you still doing the same thing
I'm
on the,
trying to schedule a break or holiday.
yeah, have you got one scheduled now?
I do.
Yes, that's what I'm
It's for winter. I was trying to fit in one more between now and the winter break.
Yeah,
I actually canceled it because I need some I need to put some numbers in.
mm,
Uh I
it's
need
gonna
to
be,
put some numbers in to try and sort of maintain my position.
it's a vicious game for
Yeah.
that, innit?
It's ruthless, yeah.
Because even on the lead up to your holiday that you have scheduled,
Yeah.
if your performance isn't there, like, I'm approaching that time off with
Yeah.
guilt already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm away,
Yeah.
and I'm not really like, you have to have done well, I think, to feel like you've sort of earned a break or be at peace on the break. You know. And when you are away, you switching your phone off, or you?
So when I'm away, I would probably designate a 2-hour window of which I would be on my phone
Mm-hmm.
working or
Nice.
available to work. That's what I would probably typically do. It would be it would depend what part of the world I am. If it would be in like Southeast Asia, I would probably dedicate like early, late afternoon, a couple of hours, sort of catch the morning hours here or before lunchtime hours here. I think that's what I'm planning on doing. Yeah, I would still be available every day for a couple of hours, but I would try to stay away from my phone
Mm-hmm.
and from my laptop as much as possible. Yeah, to
What a change beat a wee minute. So, obviously, a couple of years. You've
mm.
been here now 3 years, 4,
I've been in Dubai for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to Dubai?
All right. What brought me to Dubai? My older brother lives here.
Yeah.
They've lived here for like 10 years now. We would always come and visit them. And I just like the lifestyle they had, the opportunities they were exposed to. And I always wanted more from life. And that I moved from London to here. And this was in September 2022. And got into real estate in July 23. Then did like a year and a half, then took a break for 4.5 months and then rejoined back in August,
Mm.
midway through August, and then now we're end of September.
And like the Adrian prior to that in London, 'Cause you were doing well in London, right? So you were a model before,
Yeah, yeah, that's
big name
right.
was.
Yeah.
And is there because I see that as once you've made a step in and you've got a little bit of traction, which you clearly had, like that's a thing that obviously it's going to pay whilst you're young, but it can pay a lot if you really lean into it, right?
Yeah.
Or wrong?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So I was making a decision and I was more interested going into career that you get better with age rather than the opposite way. You get worse with age. So I was really looking for that sort of
Mm.
business or market segment where I would, yeah, and I would have a little bit more control over because in my previous job, it's not as controllable. Like you make a few decisions, but it's effectively someone is choosing you to do a thing,
Mm.
to do a gig, to do a job, and you have limited control of their decision, almost no control,
Mhm.
right? So, uh, yeah, this was the sort of the motivating factor. I never really enjoyed that job, anyways. It
Mm.
was just sort of like I got along with it. I had the opportunity to do it, and I've done it for a couple of years, and yeah, it was great. But yeah, it was time for me to move on.
Mm.
Yeah,
And if you came out to Dubai, I think you said you came out to Dubai and there was maybe what 6 months or so before you actually got into real estate.
more. It was 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And did you try something else then? Were you working on something else? Were you still doing the modeling thing over here?
I was still doing my previous job.
Mm.
I was doing it between here and Milan and like other sort of cities in Europe. I would travel a lot, but here would be my base. And here I would be sort of coming out with a plan to try and find exit and get into something that,
Seems great traveling around doing that, man. And is that like, I mean, obviously you've got a gig and then you might have a long layoff till you do something else.
yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be too long of a
Mm.
layoff. It wouldn't be longer than a week
Mm.
or a couple of days. Again, like it's similar to real estate. Like you get into this
Yeah, because I
flow
was getting that
state.
that vibe. Yeah, when you
Yeah,
were saying about control, I was like, there's an element of,
yeah,
or maybe you feel that you do have control in your transactions now, right?
yeah. You do have a little bit more
More,
control.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Over there, it's a bit more like it's a momentum based sort of career as well. Like
Mm.
once you have that momentum, you get that momentum, you try and ride it.
Yeah. But did you not feel that you already had that?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
It's an interesting move. That's why I wanted to unpack it, because if
Yeah.
I feel like you were doing well,
Mm.
then you've made the decision to go, and then the same thing happened again. Like you nailed that first quarter.
Yeah.
Like in our office, for people listening for their context, it's split into off-plan villas and apartments. We're in the apartments
Mm.
office. I don't know the exact figures on this, but I think your billings in that first quarter must have been, 3 times as much as anyone else in the office.
Yeah, so the second one was divided by 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, divided by 2.1, yeah.
And then you down tools and went to do something else.
Yeah, yeah.
What was
It's
it?
an interesting move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an exploration phase.
Mm.
It's very much about like I was 27 at the time,
Mm.
still relatively young. I wanted to try and explore, and I met this guy at the time who was my client, who was a great friend, former business partner, and he sort of pitched the job to me, and he pitched that we'll run a business together, and I wanted to try it out. It was a great opportunity. Seemed like a great opportunity at the time, and just gathering experience. That's
Yeah, yeah,
effectively what it is. And I knew I can come back to real estate anytime. It will probably took me 3 months
yeah.
to regain that momentum.
Which has happened,
Yeah,
which is mad.
yeah. And I knew exactly that. I would still have that at the
Yeah,
back
yeah,
of at the back of the back door
yeah,
still be open.
yeah.
It's that industry is not going anywhere, but
Mm.
I had that opportunity. I wanted to try it out because I would have regretted not trying it.
Mhm.
It was a very interesting period of my life where I was getting into that role, uh, sort of leaving all that momentum behind, which I did regret
Mm.
a little bit, but at the same time, I know I can regain that momentum fairly quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what? inputs do you feel are key? So this would
Mm,
obviously benefit new brokers, but even
mm,
current brokers that are struggling to
yeah,
find a beat at the moment,
yeah,
like the inputs that you're putting in to get the output of
yeah.
like momentum quickly. Like, have you got like a top three that you'd maybe boil that down to, or do you think it's more than that?
I think it's having sort of three sort of key things that you focus on. It's a great place to start. Try and get really good at those the few things, and then once you get good at those, you sort of you can evolve that. Uh, I think a great place to start is to have an sort of a niche marketplace area,
Hmm.
like a niche core marketplace. If you're planning to do this job for at least 2 to 5 years, you should probably do that. What do you have to offer if you're brand new to this business? You need to have competitive advantage over someone like, I don't know, yourself or me.
Mm.
You need to have dedication, work ethic. That's probably a good place to start, and product knowledge. These few things I would try and master as quickly as possible. I would try and create saturation and volume.
Mm.
Volume through intensity and hours that you try and connect to as many people as possible. And focus on getting 10, 20 transactions over the line as quickly as possible. Once you do that, you'll have some information, you'll have some data, you'll understand how the business works. And I think that's a good position to start and looking at more technicalities, like looking things in a bit more technical way.
Hmm. Are you boiling that down to like if you're looking at output as um, like volume of calls? Are you tracking that? Like I've done so many calls, so many connects, so many market appraisals, so many for sale available, so many deals.
Yeah.
You are tracking that, yeah.
So I'm not tracking my KPIs,
Mm.
unfortunately. No, it's something I'll definitely want to start doing. I think for me, prospecting is the core of this business, and I do prospect every day. And that's the priority of my day, prospecting. Try and do 40 connects every day. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes I do 60, sometimes I do 20. It's one of the most important things, prospecting,
Yeah.
creating saturation over time.
Mate, sometimes just getting 20 connects like it sounds easy. Like
Yeah.
you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
because I think the KPI when you come into the company is like 50. And so you kind of come in on day one and you're like, you try and hit 50 connects and it just, that's a lot, that's a lot
Yeah.
of volume,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you are having those connects and you're having somewhat like a quality conversation. That takes a lot of time. Then there's the admin to digest, and then maybe you're trying to get it online after that. There's a lot of messages going back and forth, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Um, how do you judge that then? So you, if you're not tracking it as a KPI,
Mm.
you just know roughly from like the way you feel at the end of the day, like, oh, I must have done like that was a lower day around about 20 or higher day up at the 40s. Or you do you note that down? Are you doing like a little tally of connects?
No, I don't actually do that.
Mm.
What I do is I try to, well, it really depends because obviously here we don't necessarily have any like direct admin support. Like we don't have yet any sort of PAs that might do prospecting for you or some like non-revenue generating tasks for you.
Mm.
That's what I find it's the biggest challenge for me. Sometimes I'm cluttered with those tasks
The
rather
admin.
than, yeah, rather than try and look for those opportunities. It's about trying to maximize the time and really squeeze everything out of the day. Prospecting, and it also depends on how many listings I operate at the time, how many hot buyers I'm working with, what sort of deals I have going on. It is really situational, but I think the core of it is to have the prospecting as the main sort of
Body of work.
body of work, the main task of a day. Try and connect to as many people as possible, and then everything else should evolve around that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would probably suggest to anyone.
And you're splitting that time, like we obviously have a bit of a luxury in the company that we're in House and House, because there's obviously a database of buyers.
Yeah.
Do you prospect buyers as well?
I don't prospect buyers.
No.
No.
So just purely prospecting units for the
Yeah.
majority of the day.
Yeah.
And is that time blocked, like 9 to 12?
No. I try to, like, when it comes down to time of prospecting, I always try to tell all the new guys that come and ask me an advice, like, try and be smart about it. Like, when do you think people are the most responsive? When do you think they are most they'll probably pick up and have a conversation with you? It's probably not at 8 o'clock in the morning, probably not at 9. Is it in the afternoon? Maybe. Is it in the just before lunchtime? Maybe. Try and be smart, and also sort of what demographic are you calling in? What type of a day, or what day in a week? I don't typically get great results from prospecting over the weekend, as in like calls.
Mm.
I typically get good results from prospecting early in the week, let's say first 3-4 days a week. And then Fridays, obviously, yeah, it's not great because obviously you have Juma prayer and all these things.
Mm.
So yeah, try and be smart about it, and also know who you're prospecting. And yeah, have like a prospecting system. It took me year and a half to understand or set my own prospecting system. Every call, every connect, or every call, despite it if it's connect or not, there's a follow-up message afterwards.
Mm.
And over time, that's how I create saturation effectively. Yeah.
And you feel that, obviously, you feel like the follow-up message is successful. Is that like in depth, or is it very
No, it's not in depth. It's just
hi Adrian,
there.
tried to call you regarding property XYZ?
Exactly. This is what's happening. This is what's happening.
And yeah,
Every
like, what are your plans with the unit type thing, or is it
no,
nah?
no. I don't ask.
No.
What's your plan?
So you just
I don't ask if there's
straight in call regarding the property. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding the property, and it's each and every outreach that I do is with a purpose.
Mm.
There's a reason behind me calling you as a seller or calling you as an owner. I call with a reason, with a purpose, and the purpose is to let you know what's happening, because every quarter, every half year, every year, there's a change in the situation. There is a change in the marketplace. What is the change? It depends on the period. Prices have changed. New buildings coming up. This is what's happening. This is what buyers are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to provide as much value as possible to these people.
Mm-hmm.
And
You lead in with a transaction in that call.
no,
Hi, Mr. Seller.
no, I don't talk about recent transactions.
Really? Yeah.
I don't talk about any specific transactions.
So
I talk about changes and updates
Mm.
in the marketplace.
Mm.
Changes are anything. New launch, prices increase, prices decrease, building handed over, an update. Update needs to be relevant. You give them a relevant update, they're like, okay, this guy, he probably knows what he's doing.
Mm.
He's probably aware of what's happening, and I want to know, because whatever the update and the change is, it directly impacts the value of my asset. That's effectively what I try and do.
Mm.
I don't ask people if they want to sell. I look for a relationship. I look for a conversation. I don't look for the low-hanging fruit, or like try and get this unit because it's for sale. And I've seen it online and things like that.
Yeah.
It's no, I don't do that.
Yeah. You mentioned relationships there. Have you got examples from like your own practice as to how important that is, and maybe advice
Mm.
to other brokers on how to nurture that?
Yeah, it's a very interesting
It's a
conversation.
relationship business, right?
Yeah, it's a very difficult, and you need
It's an art, man.
it's an art. Exactly. It's you need a certain skill set to get into that position. The way I see it, the way I like to or try and do it, is as soon as I feel there's a mutual interest in having a conversation with me, I try and progress it forward. The best would be to have an appointment if the prospect is sort of a later stage, or if they're thinking of selling, as like a market appraisal. But at the same time, my competitive advantage, I would try and change that relationship from like a business transaction based relationship into a gentle friendship really quickly.
Mhm.
And I would try and find commonalities between me and the other person and try and speak about that rather than the business, and try and move closer to them,
Mhm.
and also try and maybe find something that we might have in common, speak about that so they also see the other side of me.
Mhm.
It's not just business.
If they
Yes,
like you as well, they'll lean more into that relationship, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about trying, obviously trying to help them in
Mhm.
some sort of way, but also try and see the other side of us, try and see the other side of me. I think it's pretty powerful. That's what usually works, but it's very difficult.
Mhm.
Let's say you have 10 prospects and it works only with 2.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember back to another conversation we had where you were saying that there was a tenant in a unit that was difficult to get into and everything was frosty, and you noticed like a wallet or something, a check. Was it a
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed the passport, and yeah, this is an interesting conversation
yeah?
because there was a tenant of a unit which I was selling. He was very difficult to get a hold of. He didn't want to let me view and things like that. I managed to crack him. Then I've noticed that we have a similar background. Uh, we spoke the same language, and it's quite interesting because it was listed with 3 agents, and I told him, "Don't let anyone view it. Just let me view it. I'll sell it very quickly, and I won't bother you again." That's exactly.
Really? Yeah.
That's ex
That's bold, mate.
Yeah, 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 and that's
Did you have
exact.
a buyer for it at the time?
No,
No.
no.
Fucking that's bold.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's effectively what happened we ended up selling it last week. The tenant bought a studio with me in JVC over the weekend. He's buying 3 off-plan units, or planning to buy 3 off-plan units, and he's actually a very nice guy.
Mm.
We're friends.
Yeah, really, yeah.
So
And then is that based on, so it's kind of like a business transaction that you're filtering in commonalities and like building a
exactly,
relationship,
exactly.
or are you like saying let's go and grab lunch, let's play golf, are you taking it out of a business context fully into a friendship, or are you still like mixing that in there?
I think mixing that in there,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's probably the way I approached it. It's again, you also want to gauge like how keen that person is to have that sort of a friendship based relationship,
Mm.
or they just want to do business, or they want you to advise them. I think it's a skill that each and every broker should master to try and gauge. Uh, at the same time, I think the combination of both is effectively, it's your time, right? Like, you're trying to get return on your time, but also if you're able to connect with someone on a bit more of a natural, more of a friendship level, it's great. Like,
Mm.
you build friends, you build allies, and effectively you make you build assets of these people. Do I like to say it all the time? Uh, you want you want to create a wow effect. So as soon as I met that guy, I knew exactly what I was going to do in that situation. Um, he's a tenant. He's paying high rent for a property. He's living there with his son. He doesn't want to be bothered. He's paying high rent. He doesn't want to be bothered by agents. I told him, I'm going to make it easy for you.
Mm.
Very easy.
Mm.
Just trust me on this. Play with me. Let me view it. I'll do 3, 4 viewings and we'll sell it. That's exactly what happened. I made it easy for him. I made it easy for the seller. We got an asking price, full asking price. I made it easy for the buyer and effectively easy for me. So, uh,
Where's that like confidence in that process coming from? Is it like how you're qualifying buyers? Like,
no, the confidence. it's a bit of a delusion in the beginning, but that's what pretty much was my whole career is about delusion.
Is it? What, like a almost, just brash, like, confidence that you think if you speak it, it'll
100%.
you'll will it into
Yeah,
existence, yeah?
yeah,
Really, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the way I like to see it is you try and put yourself in a position, yeah, you have this. You need to create a momentum around it,
Mm.
and you need to create a momentum so you make that transaction, so you sell it. How are you gonna do it? It's a difficult question to answer. I remember when I brought that property to the market, the team said, "Oh, you aren't selling this. It's 300K, 400K over market." And I told them, "Yeah, I'm selling it." It's create that momentum, create
Over
that energy.
market selling it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
Mm.
300, 400K.
Did it have, like, something unique about
Yeah,
it?
it had a great view.
Mm.
Yeah, it had a great view. It was a very nice apartment. Yeah,
And is that tenant planning on leaving?
yeah, he's leaving.
Yeah, so, okay. So, end user obviously bought it.
Investor bought it actually.
Really?
French
Yeah.
couple. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Mm. And are you when you've got a buyer there, after a viewing, have you got, like, maybe, like, a process or, like, powerful questions that you're asking at the end to, like, draw out and
No,
gauge? Nah?
no.
So, you just you quite hands off, or you quite, like, I suppose it's contextual, isn't it?
Yeah,
You get somebody's really keen asking loads of questions, you can maybe close.
exactly. No, I don't really have a closing strategy. I sort of start my negotiation in the first contact with the client, and the way I do it is I prepare myself ahead of the time. So when it comes down to the end or towards the end of the negotiation, they make a decision themselves. Like I don't need to push. I never push anyone.
Mm.
I obviously tell them my recommendations and I try and advise them. But also one of the things is I do live in my core market area. I bump into 3, 4, 5 clients on daily basis, where
Really?
it's sellers, buyers. It's relatively small area.
If you're spending so much time in the office, how is that happening?
Yeah,
Walking in the morning? Gym? You go to the gym and
yeah. Gym, grocery store, walking around
mm,
in the evening, weekends, things like that. So I would not try and sell anything to anyone if it doesn't feel right, because I know I'm going to see them. We're going to bump into each other. There's a high chance it's going to happen, and that's effectively what's happening.
mhm.
Uh, to answer your question, I don't really have a closing strategy. I let them to decide.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then you obviously negotiate and
yeah,
the deal from then.
yeah. It's for me. It's negotiation comes before the close. If it's not the right unit for them, it's fine.
Mm.
But throughout that process, I've learned what they like, what they don't like, so I can then find something that they will like and they will effectively move forward with.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I want to bring things back a little bit to when you were in a different area,
yeah,
and obviously you made the pivot to focus on the area that you currently focus on. What were you sort of going through at that time? I'm trying to contextualize this for maybe somebody looking at even myself recently.
mhm,
I was doing downtown Dubai as an area, but didn't overly vibe with the area. And I can rationalize that as it not being important to vibe with an area. Like at the end of the day, you can pick a building or two that's transacting, build a reputation and make money if you understand the market.
yeah,
But for me, like I'm again like quite a kind of feeling and gut feeling orientated
mm,
person, and if I'm getting that, um, I would usually I'll follow that gut feeling,
mm,
you know.
yeah,
And if you put yourself back in those shoes when you were doing, 'cause you went from Marina to Creek
yeah,
in Marina. what kind of things were like going on for you there that made you like uncertain about it as an area or maybe a team or
Yeah. Yeah, it was a combination of things for sure. I was sort of stuck at a quite low value point there. I was I was transacting uh pretty frequently, but it was always around a lower value point. It was a combination of things. One of them was the team. The other one was it was a bit more matured community. It was a bit more difficult to crack that market, or it would take substantially longer for me to crack that market. The properties I was ultimately wanting to cover, but at the same time, I still think it's one of the best areas to cover. It's highly transactional. It is quite competitive, quite saturated, but the feeling that I have each and every decent area, it's quite saturated nowadays. Anyways,
mm,
uh, to be honest, I was in that position where I didn't have much experience. I just saw an opportunity in the other team. It was one of those things. Before I joined the business, I always wanted to work in that area, in Creek Harbor
mm,
area. They didn't let me, so I sort of naturally been gravitating towards it.
mm,
And at the time, there was only two guys in the team. Couple people sort of left off, and I looked at the data, I looked at the transactions, I looked at the value points, I looked at what sort of it is for the community in the future, and that's how I made that decision. It was based off data and analytics. It wasn't really based on again, like emotions or feelings, or I was a good friend with those two guys that were at the team at the time. I knew both of them. We weren't great friends or anything like that. It was a decision based on numbers.
mhm.
When I saw an opportunity there, and that's exactly what it was. So
Did you have a look
yeah,
at, because if you think about the market, there's definitely, I would say, a bias probably towards villas and townhouses
yeah,
that point towards maybe an increase in that market based on who's coming to Dubai and also the supply and demand of units becoming available.
yeah.
Did you consider that when you were making that decision?
I did consider that.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. I
Why
did.
did you decide against it?
I did consider that. It's. I still think master communities and communities with uh, a great value proposition and sort of USPs, despite oversupply, they will still do well
Mm,
because they're sort of controlled by a few developers. Supply is controlled by one or a few developers. They have great quality of life. People are naturally gravitating towards these communities. So I don't think oversupply or imbalance of supply demand will necessarily affect those communities like Dubai Hills or downtown or Creek or Palm Jumeirah or these like maturing communities.
mm,
I don't think that's the case. Do I think it's the case in some other communities? Probably. I'm not an expert in that. I don't want to really give my opinion. When it comes down to villas, the thing is, I started in sort of a high volume transactional environment in
mm,
the beginning.
mm,
I knew how to do that, and I understand like I'm good at that because I move with speed, and a I can create volume, and I focus on making or I focus on speed in that transaction. So I think I'm naturally better in that environment rather than a bit more slow paced, higher value point, but also higher risk, higher competition because there's less supply,
mhm,
there's more saturation. Over time, that can translate into a very good career, which we obviously see on daily basis. But at the same time, a higher volume transactional area is, in my opinion, recession proof, and there's lesser risk. Yes, there's maybe more work, but if you can do it, if you have a good strategy around it, it's probably easier to do it. That's my personal opinion.
mm.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Really good answer. You said earlier on about you were, I can't forget what question you were answering, but you said something about doing this job for like 2 to 5 years. It, it do you not see this line of work as like a long term thing?
I do,
You do,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
It, it can be. Um, Part of what I struggle with it is it demands like a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of your emotional bandwidth. Um, Obviously the money can be there, but also there's the time off thing. Like I don't like the fact that when I'm going away, if I stop working for 2 months, everything stops working.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I
mm,
partially disagree with that.
mm,
It is the case in early stage of the career, but effectively, the way I see it, the way I see it, I try to put myself in a position of being an attraction
you just
agent.
mm,
So I would have business coming to me, regardless if I do the output or no, but it doesn't happen quickly. It happens over time.
mm,
And it's about, I treat every client like a billionaire client, regardless of what they look like, regardless of what they wear. Try and create wow effect, customer service, exceptional customer service. Each and every client, whether it translates into transaction, it's an asset. Every agent that you know outside of the inside a company and outside a company,
mm,
try and build a relationship. It's an asset for you. These
mm,
people will bring business for you. If you show them that you know what you're doing, you know what you're talking about, you're sharp, they'll bring business to you.
mm,
If it's colleagues, if it's other agents from other companies, clients, they speak to other people. This is asset. This is your database. This is your network. You need to be expanding that. And
mm.
how you do that? Through exceptional customer service, through saturation, and through wow effect. I'm speaking from experience. Uh, People come to me sometimes and they say, "Oh, I've heard what you did with this guy. I've heard what you did with that guy." It was an incredible result and an incredible sort of smooth process.
Mhm.
I have a buyer and I need to close them on something, and I have full confidence that you'll be able to find the right unit for them. So that's why I'm only sort of going to work with you. This is an agent from another company that has access to high quality, great buyers through their own sort of lead generation system that they have, whether it's social media or whatever, or referrals, friends and family. And they want someone who won't sort of mess around. They know exactly what they're doing. And they don't want to risk, as in like, you know what happens in the market. Like you put an offer forward and seller might change their mind, they increase the price and things like that. Yeah.
Regularly.
Yeah. Very, very common thing, which it can be prevented.
Yeah.
I always say the vendor management is probably the most important thing,
Mm,
but we can touch on that later. But to answer that question, I think it's treat everyone like it is asset in your business.
mhm. Where do you see things going, like,
Mm,
for brokers? I know there's a few whispers around, like, no cold calls and
mm.
things like that. Um, how do you see sort of I just feel like so many companies, man, so many people launching companies out of nowhere, just getting bums in seats, and there's, like, deals, like, happening. It's
Yeah,
a crazy market.
yeah,
What do you think will happen over the next maybe 2 to 5 year period?
yeah. It's a great question. I think the transactional volume will always be there, regardless of whether you or me are going to do those transactions. The transaction will always happen.
Mm,
Who's going to do them? Are those people who want it the most. It is getting more competitive. It is getting more saturated. And you need to be better and better. That's why the way I see it is, I try to, it's almost like if you aren't learning, you're almost like decreasing, as in ranks. Uh, the opportunity that you're exposed to, you need to sort of follow that curve. If you aren't doing that, and I'm seeing it, brokers that used to do exceptionally well, even in the company where we're in the past couple of years, they aren't doing that well anymore because there's people like me or you who are effectively taking that market share
Mm.
because we do create more volume, create more saturation. Yeah. It's almost like a never ending chase, which is, it's difficult to comprehend. It's hard. It's physically and mentally demanding, but that's the nature of this job.
Mm.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, that's just how it is. You can't change it. The more you think of it, it's only going to set you back, in my opinion. Yeah.
You think there'll be like a shakeout of brokers where you'll get like big numbers sort of decreasing, like when the market turns? Because you said that there's the transaction volume still gonna, you think it's gonna stay the
Yeah.
same, which would lead you to believe we're still gonna have the same experience in terms of like volume of brokers and maybe competition.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that is the case, or do you think there'll be like maybe a bit of a turn? People find it more difficult. People leave, go elsewhere, go to other jobs,
Yeah.
and we'll have like only the strong survive type.
Yeah. I think it's already happening.
Yeah.
I think it's already happening. There's a lot of people falling off, or they come, they tried, they see it's not what they were promised by the recruiters
Yeah.
and all of that. It's a war zone. The marketplace I work in is a war zone.
Yeah.
It's a war zone. Everyone is trying to cut you off. It got to that stage. I think it's already happening, and it will happen more and more. And that's why sort of a niche specialization in a core market area is probably a good thing to do.
Mm.
Yes, there are agents that do everything and they're wildly successful. Just imagine that you're not one of them. You're not special. So try and do the traditional way, and creating saturation there over time, compounding effect will take over. And that should help you in the long run.
Mm.
And that should, if you keep that momentum, it's all about momentum. If you keep that flow, you'll almost have like a shield around you. But you need to keep it.
Mhm.
You need to consistently add on to it. If you don't do it, if you, as you said, take a longer holiday, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna you're gonna feel. I felt it. I took
Yeah.
4.5 months away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I came back. All my business was stripped away from me.
Yeah.
I started with nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like zero. I
Really.
knew some people, but I had no database. I had zero. I had to basically start from scratch and make things happen from nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what other things like outside of like being a broker that do you think like help your mentality in terms of like fitness,
Yeah.
say good food?
Yeah.
You drink alcohol?
No.
None.
No.
And has that been a thing for a long time, or is that
Yeah, it's been a thing for a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
why not?
So I didn't drink. I had zero alcohol for about 600 days. But on the 7th of July, I
600
I
days.
broke that course.
Yeah.
I broke that curse. I broke that curse. I just wanted to feel. I just wanted to try it. It was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Did you
do.
drink heavily before that?
No,
No.
I was never a drinker.
Yeah.
No. Why? It's just no. It doesn't really. I do like a drink.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say no to drink like a special occasion.
Glass of wine with steak or
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Things like that. I think it's pretty natural. I just wanted to try it out. I wanted to test myself. How far can I go? How does it feel? Because it was this whole thing, and
Yeah.
people just stopped drinking. I was like, yeah, let's try it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I'm not drinking. But yeah, I think I've got probably the best relationship I've ever had with it now, and I've got a good stint. I'm maybe what 3 or 4 months or something at the moment,
Yeah.
but I'm not tracking it militantly. But I kind of look at it like I don't drink,
Yeah.
and when I'm out and about, I'm having like the non-alcoholic beers and stuff,
Okay.
and I find that that makes it so much easier
Mhm.
because it allows you to be social. You're not really like at least for me, I don't feel like stiff in
Yeah.
a social environment because I've got one that looks like a
Yeah.
drink, so I'm kind of taking part.
Exactly.
Um, but I don't miss it. I really don't miss it.
You don't miss it.
Nah, it comes back to my question, which is like, what other things? Alcohol is definitely a big one for me.
Mm.
Like I would see like one big hangover, crap food that day, shit sleep,
Yeah.
goes into like just a lazy week, then
Yeah.
becomes a lazy month. That I'm maybe having other drinks then, and I have noticed a pattern, like because what we do is like it's like a fucking sport,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you need to like treat it that way, otherwise you're like if you're coming off, you can fall behind.
Yeah.
It's so fast
Yeah.
paced, you fall behind like that.
Exactly as you said.
Yeah, and do you obviously train? I think last time we spoke about this, you were saying that you were kind of out of kilter with it.
Yeah, I do. I still train. I always train.
Mm.
I'm just not in a sort of, with the volume of work we do, it's sometimes hard to fit it in. I do still try and consistently try and put it in. I think for me it's the combination of of having that nutrition and sleeping system and the fitness, and also trying
Sleep's massive.
massive, huge. Yeah.
Have you got a routine around that?
I do have a routine. I don't have a morning routine.
Yeah,
I start working the moment I wake up.
yeah,
I do have a before sleep routine. I do some breath work and things like that,
nice.
which is a massive, massive game changer for me. The conscious breathing,
Yeah,
incredibly important. I would recommend that to everyone. Um, yeah, I think it's a combination of things to try and optimize and maximize the performance, maximize the output, and exactly as you said. And I know Charlie Bannon says it all the time. You treat it like treat the business like you're an athlete, and I do agree with it.
mm.
Yeah, I do agree with it. It's a very sort of a performance based.
The breathing that you do is like a guided meditation, or you just
Yeah.
silent.
So yeah, you probably know it's a Wim Hof technique.
Yeah,
I do his technique. I do some other techniques.
really like his technique, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
I did it. I used to live in Australia, and I used to like meet people like down on the beach
Yeah.
on a Sunday, and we had Marcel Hoff, which is like his brother, do like the technique. There was like these big blow up pools that we'd filled with ice and all that, and it was a lot. I usually do 3 rounds, but that was like 8, and I was mate like 8 rounds of like
8 rounds.
the breathing
Okay.
and then the exhale and the hold.
Oh my God.
And
That's heavy.
yeah, I remember.
That's very heavy.
I remember him nudging me on the beach. He's like, "Are you all right?" 'Cause
It is
I
heavy.
had gone like blue, mate.
Mm.
I swear I was not in my body.
Yeah.
Like just pure bliss, like nothing in my head.
Yeah.
And I've used that ever since. I currently do it. I actually do it. I do it in the car on the way to
Oh,
the gym.
really?
Yeah, yeah. It's not as effective in the car
Yeah.
because you're distracted,
Yeah.
but I get like a calming sense
Yeah.
of it and and a kind of peaceful mind that like I enjoy, especially to start the day. But it's interesting you do that at the end of the day.
I do it right before sleep. Right
Really,
before
yeah.
sleep. Yeah.
Is it not jack up your
No,
cortisol?
it's interesting
Yeah.
because there's both sides to it. Like some people say it spikes the cortisol. In my sort of my way of doing it, no, I don't feel it. It's quite the opposite. I think it takes away the cortisol. It reduces the cortisol.
Mm.
I don't find it as effective in the morning, actually. I
Mm.
found it much more effective in the evening. And it's something that I sort of tried. I tried doing both, and I just feel it much more effective in the evening.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I've heard the same thing from multiple people asking me, yeah, because naturally it is supposed to spike your cortisol. How do you then try and fall asleep after that? yeah,
No problem.
no problem. It really
Yeah.
works for me. Yeah.
Suppose kind of the same thing with a cold plunge. You ever done a cold plunge before bed?
Yeah. No, no, before bed.
Unreal before
Oh,
bed.
really?
Oh my god. But it's the same thing. It like that will like spark, I would imagine, an adrenaline response,
Yeah.
and then like extreme calm
Oh,
afterwards.
really?
Yeah, like yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Do you recommend it?
yeah. I don't have a routine at the minute like accounts for that. I do it in the morning a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but when I do, like, say I've got a day off the gym where I'll go to the gym in the morning, sometimes I'll skip out. I'll just have a more lazy morning,
Yeah.
have my coffee at home or whatever. And on those days, I might go into the gym after work and just have like a sauna or a cold plunge. So I
Yeah.
can experience it then. And when I do that, like my sleep's
Oh, really?
much better.
Interesting.
Yeah. We're struggling a little bit for time. So I wanted to touch on two more things I wanted to ask you. One is um, coming to Dubai, like lifestyle wise. In fact, I've got a lot of questions regarding this stuff, but it's an expensive place, right? For sure. Um, and like personal finance is like a
Yeah.
personal thing.
Yeah.
Have you have you got like not a strategy, but like
Mm.
a system
Mm.
with your money? So when you get paid, you're like trying to live on certain percentage, or do you try and save so much money, put it away so you can invest it, or are you just like have like a system with your expenses where you only spend a certain amount and everything else is gravy, or do you even watch it at all?
Yeah. It's a great question.
Because I think this is something that a lot of people in general could get so much value in, because your relationship with money is hard, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I do have a system in place. I do invest the majority of my income into different things, depending on what the markets are doing, depending on, uh, yeah, probably what the markets are doing. At the time, I do invest, try and invest majority. It also depends what sort of income is coming in each month. It's not like percentage based. I do have the certain budget that allows me to live life on the level I want to live
Mhm.
the life. Um, I do like a good quality life. I do like to travel and experience things and go to nice places. But at the same time, I try and instill the more of a stoic philosophy to life and to finances as well.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, and I know in Dubai it's quite difficult, especially when you start making a little bit of income. Maybe you start making a little bit more money. There's a lot of distractions here, and you see all the cars and watches that people wear. It almost sort of, pushes you towards that as well. So having that discipline is very important.
Mm.
And I think it's also quite individual. Like, what do you want from life? I do have a long-term strategy, like financial strategy. I have my number. Once I hit that number, I'm out.
Mhm.
And I'm going to try to get to that number as quickly as possible. And that means a lot of sacrifices, which I'm okay with. Yeah. I
Mhm.
don't mind. Yeah.
What kind of things do you think you're sacrificing in order to get to that number?
Cars. Like I love a car.
Yeah.
I do sacrifice a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
You know Bill Perkins?
no.
No, so I think he's like a trader or something, but he wrote a book called Die with Zero.
Okay.
And you obviously got a lot of like money orientated books that, will be different variations on how to manage your money, so you've got some left over so that you can invest.
Yeah.
He he's he's created like essentially a system around, because as you age in a career, your income generating potential is going to increase. So to like, whilst your income generating potential is lower in terms of where you're going to be on that scale
Mhm.
later on, he's like, it doesn't make sense to put such a ceiling on your life and your experiences, because there's certain things that you're going to run out of time to experience.
Sure.
Like, say, if you like snowboarding, for instance, right? You're gonna snowboard until you're fucking, what, I don't know, 45 or 50 and your knees are knackered or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's done.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'm gonna sacrifice these snowboarding trips because I want some more money to invest now,
Yeah.
like it doesn't make sense because your income earning potential is gonna be more later on when you typically do less stuff. So I think about that a lot, and that causes me to compromise on the kind of rules that
Hmm.
I set myself and the boundaries that I set myself around my money. Similar to you, like nice things, like to go on trips, etc. And I try to keep my expenses to a certain amount, but regularly I'll come over, not crazy over, but I'll be like, "Ah," like I want to have those experiences because like reading that book's kind of warped my way of
Yeah.
looking at things because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have a lot more money a lot later on because
Yeah.
my income generating potential based on skills and experience is gonna be more.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if that's like the wrong way to look at it, and you should make those sacrifices now because you're gonna enjoy the Porsche probably more now than ever,
Yeah. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So is that not like a justification to compromise on the extra money?
Yeah.
Because what's the Porsche gonna cost you?
Yeah. It's, the way I see it is, whatever makes you happy. If spending a little bit more on the lifestyle is going to make you happy and fulfilled effectively, that's probably the right thing to do. But if investing that money is going to make you happier because you effectively move closer to your goal, to your end goal, then that's probably a better choice. So it really depends what makes you more fulfilled, what makes you happy. Yeah.
Mm.
And it's difficult to balance it out, but we're all young and we're here in Dubai, and how I like my good friend likes to say, we're living in we're living the American dream 2.0
Mhm.
here in Dubai right now.
Yeah.
So using the tailwind of the industry, using the tailwind of the city, the region, yeah, I try to enjoy it also.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I might reconsider.
Lastly, another one was on personal branding. How important do you think like personal branding is as a real estate broker?
Mm,
Because when we were talking about your routines and that earlier on, like with prospecting being a focus,
yeah.
like arguably you could be more successful just focusing on your patch and doing the prospecting.
Mm,
But if you're going to take time away from that to build your brand,
yeah.
do you see value in that?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great question. It's a great question, and it's something I keep thinking of very, very often in the past couple of months, because we've seen, or we see, all the agents are coming now with like the heavy social presence and things like that. I think it's the right combination of both. It also depends what's the core of your business, like where does most of your transaction come from? As you know, some of the top performers in the company where we work in, it's a mix of both. Some of them have no personal brand. They just work in their core market area. They have created saturation over time. Probably have created a wow effect throughout their time. Everyone knows them, and effectively they're uh, collecting business of that. But there also is the other part that you're generating leads through the social. So I think it depends on what market segment you're working in. If you're doing off plan, it's probably smarter to try and outsource leads from somewhere else. But if you're doing sort of residential areas of families, it's almost like you need to have a definite uh, idea of where is your customer? Like, where are they? Are they on socials, or are they at home? Are they on their phone?
They're
How
all on the phone though, aren't they?
they're all on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's it's a bulletproof strategy. The traditional prospecting, listing presentation, vendor management, buyer's work, negotiation, closing. It's probably the safest, most traditional way and the easiest way to do it and to master it. But I think we're moving towards this era where the personal branding will be beneficial. Will it be game changer? I don't think so. Will it be beneficial? I think so. Combination of both is probably key moving forward from now until a couple of years down the line, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
We're over time, but I just wanted to recognize you, man, for your work ethic, for what you do, how you do it. It's inspiring, man. So it's a pleasure to work alongside you, and obviously
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
appreciate your friendship
Same
as
to
well.
you. You've done some great things, and congrats on all your success.
Bosh.
All right.
Cheers, brother.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.